Sasha from Show Young Artists, and I thought I'd just share a very quick video tutorial with you on how to make 3 very simple cloth face masks. So as you probably are aware now, the new government guidance is that we wear cloth face masks when we are in enclosed spaces. These aren't to protect us from catching the virus. This is purely to protect other people should we have the virus and we are unaware of it. So there's 3 face masks that I'm going to show you how to make. I haven't come up with these ideas. In fact, 2 of these designs were from a link that Nottingham City Transport sent through to us, which I thought were quite good ones. So this is a fairly simple one, and the nice thing about this one is that you can put a piece of kitchen roll in there just as an extra filter, and obviously that can get replaced every time you wear it. One using an old t-shirt, and this is a completely no-sew one, really quick and easy to make, so if you have to go out in a hurry and you don't have a mask, just with some hair bubbles as well. And this one, this is my preferred one to wear just because of the shaping of it. It's a little bit more fiddly to make, but not impossible. I'm going to use the sewing machine today, but all of these can be made just by hand sewing as well. Starting then with the one with the filter, if you get a piece of paper and measure 25 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Then grab yourself a piece of fabric. I think cotton works best because obviously you can wash it at a higher temperature. I'm just folding that in half, and what I'm going to do is lay my piece of paper actually on the fold so that when I've cut it out it will open out into a nice big square. So just lay it on. You can pin it if you want to, or just cut it. Once we've cut it out, then you can open it out. We can see we've got that more square looking shape. Before I move forward any more, I am just going to zigzag around this with the sewing machine just to kind of neaten up those raw edges there. Once you've done that, then fold it back in on itself, so this time the right sides of the fabric are touching each other. I'm then going to sew down each side and probably about 4 or 5 centimetres across the bottom here. Now if you don't have a sewing machine, you can of course just do this by hand. Okay, so I've sewn down both sides and across the middle there, and you saw me just kind of going forward and back on the sewing machine there just to make sure that these edges don't start coming apart, and also that zigzag across the edge there just gives it a nice kind of trim edge. But again, if you're doing it by hand, that's absolutely fine. Right, I'm going to turn it inside out. Oh no, sorry, the right way around. It was inside out. Making sure that we get all those corners nice and straight. And I can remember my old textiles teacher saying to me that one of the most important things in dressmaking is the pressing. So before I move on any further, I'm just going to go over with the iron and just make sure that that's nice and flat and those seams are nice and straight. All ironed, and I've actually, I don't know if you can see there, I folded in those raw edges and actually pressed that nicely with the iron as well, so we've got a nice kind of fold in there ready to put the kitchen roll filter in there. So I've cut my elastic. It's probably about 19-20 centimeters long, but I think what you might need to do is actually just measure how big you need to do it when you make it yourselves, so it's not just one size fits all. And then what we need to do now is we need to make some channels for those elastic to go through. So we're simply just going to fold over the edges, making sure that you're leaving enough room for the elastic to be able to go through, and we're just simply going to sew down either side of those edges. channels sewn. Again, I did it on the machine, but you could quite easily do that by hand, just sewing down each side. Now, lots of people have different ways of getting elastic through. I'm going to use the safety pin method, so I'll just put a little bit a safety pin onto the edge of the elastic, and I'm just going to use the safety pin to feed it through. Okay, so I've threaded through, making sure I haven't lost the other one. Now once you've got both your ends of the elastic, obviously you can gather up all the bits in between. You could sew the ends of the elastic together for a flatter edge, or you could simply just tie those elastic pieces together in a knot. I'm going to just sew mine just to keep it nice and flat. Elastic added both sides, so we've got a nice little gather there, and then just the kind of extra protection filter bit, just a piece of kitchen roll, and that's just going in that little pocket there that we created, and obviously that can be removed and a fresh one put in every time that you need it. Okay, so that's the first version. This second method is quite good if you haven't got a sewing machine or you're in a bit of a rush. So what I've done, this is just an old t-shirt, so I've cut the back out of the t-shirt, and this is 50 centimetres by 50 centimetres square. I can't fit that all in on the screen. Right, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fold that in half. That's a bit better so we can see that. And then what we are going to do now is just fold the top bit down and fold the bottom bit up. I've then just got two hair bubbles. I'm just going to thread the hair bubbles in either end. As such. I'm going to fold these two ends here, and what you can do is actually just almost put the one inside the other, just to make it a little bit neater. And that goes behind your ears, and then we've got your face mask nice and ready. So that's a really quick and easy one to do. The third method's probably the most fiddliest, but it's the one that gives you the best fit around the face. So again, I've got another nice piece of cotton here, so I can wash that at quite a high temperature. I've just got a dinner plate. It's about 24-25 centimetres across, and I'm just going to use that as our template, and I'm going to cut that all the way around. Okay, so once you've got your circle nicely cut out, just going to fold it in half, trying to line it up as best you can, and then fold it into quarters. And then just with our scissors, just going to cut along there, along there, and also along the top edge here. So we'll end up with hopefully 4 pizza pie pieces. Just try that again. Oops, doesn't want to separate. Right, it's a bit tricky to tell on this fabric, but we're going to put right sides together. So that's the right side, that's the right side. Okay, that's the right side, and that's the right side. So right sides together. And what we're then going to do is we're just going to sew along this curve here. Again, I'm going to do mine with the machine, but you could easily just do this by hand as well, just with a normal running stitch. So I've stitched all along there, I hope you can see that. Now you need to be really careful with this bit, but what you can do is just clip the edge of the fabric there, just to help make the curve not buckle when you turn it inside out. But you will need to be really careful that it's only a tiny bit and we don't go anywhere near the stitching line. So just really careful with that bit all the way along. So we've got something that kind of looks like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn, or you can turn them inside out just to make sure that you've got no holes on your stitching. Both clipped. Now we need the right sides to be together again. Now I guess at this stage, if you have got an extra liner that you want to put in there, obviously kitchen roll won't work with this one because it's going to be all encased, and obviously kitchen roll will disintegrate in the washing machine if you don't take it out, but you might have an extra layer that you might want to put in there. So I'm going to keep that one like that. So that's the right side there, and this is the right side as well, and I'm actually just going to press that right side in there. At this stage, if you want to pin it all together, you can. So the two right sides are together, the two kind of seamed edges are on the outside. And then what we're going to do, once you've lined it all up perfectly, is we're going to stitch all the way around, but leaving about 2 or 3 centimeters on the end here, because what we'll then do is pull it inside out in the right way around. So I've sewn all the way around there, so you can see that all, leaving that last little bit open there. And what I'm going to do now is turn it the right way around. So it's just a question of feeding it through, pulling it, feeding it through, pulling it. Okay, so we've got our basic shape there. Now, just like I did before, I think it's really important that we give that a quick press with the iron now. And again, when we iron, we can actually iron those seams folded in there. And then what I'll do is just simply run some stitching over the top just to seal that all together. So nicely pressed now, and I have just sewn that kind of opening there as well. So you can see actually this one has quite a nice shape to it. Alright then, last bit then, I've already pre-sewn my elastic together. Again, I just went for kind of 20 centimeters, but you can gauge that depending on you know, the size of your head really. And all we're going to do is just with the corners, we're going to sew that just to secure it, but because I've already sewn the elastic, we've got to make sure that we put the elastic in first. And you might want to just hand sew this bit here, just to make sure that we're not catching the elastic as well. So just a few little stitches either side to hold that elastic in place. So that one's finished then, so you can see both edges folded over and just sewn in place, and then obviously that just folds up around your ears. So that's our 3 masks then. So that one, which is the slightly more shaped one, we had the first one that's got the little filter inside it, and then the no-sew one, which you can just do with a piece of t-shirt or something like that. So I hope that's of some use to you. Don't profess to be an amazing sewer, and I probably wouldn't get a spot on the sewing bee, but it's not about that. It's really just about keeping us all safe. If you really don't fancy making any of these cloth masks, there are lots of really talented local people that have made them and are selling them. So I'll pop a couple of links in my Facebook comment box. Okay, take care all of you and stay safe.